here. It's alive. It's moving. It's coming this way. It's the wolf monster.
Hi, my name is Christian Devine, and welcome to Retroview, a safe zone for physical media. I know it's been a long time since we've last talked, and I apologize for that. The world and work has gotten in the way, and we'll talk about some of these other issues with physical media through the course of the next episodes that are coming up, because I promise to be on the ball, and we've got a lot of discs to cover, and I intend to kind of make their Retroviews a little shorter, because it does take me a long time to work on these, because I like to, edit in ephemera and to give it kind of a flow. But sometimes I just want to actually get some information out there, because there's so many movies coming out on physical media, despite the death knell that we keep hearing. Boutique labels are probably more popular than ever, and it's a really good thing that the next generations, millennials, Gen Z, Gen Y, Alpha, etc., they were all interested in physical media, be it games or books or vinyl or movies, or collector's set. There's definitely an interest in this, and especially right now it's important to, in this age of AI, is to focus on the craft and what we bring to art, which is our humanity. And I say that as an artist and as a viewer. Now, I have plans to review the new 4K Criterion of Barry Lyndon, and also the new 4K of Sam Peckinpah's Convoy. But I thought, because I just got this in the mail this week, and this is something of a grail with me that I've been waiting for literally almost decades, and I've had a bet with a pretty fantastic horror scholar and author that this would eventually come out, although he says that it would never come out. And so I'm glad to say that I'm collecting on this particular bet, because of course I'm talking about Frankenstein's Bloody Terror in 3D Chillerama.
Don't miss Frankenstein's Bloody Terror. It's a super shock spectacle of hideous horror in Chillerama 70 and gory color, rated GP.
Now, Frankenstein's Bloody Terror is kind of a terrible title for a movie that's actually pretty great. And basically, for those who don't know, this is the 1971 U.S. re-edit of the 1968 Spanish werewolf film, La Marca del Hombre Lobo, which put Paul Naschy on the map as a writer or actor horror force. And the film was very successful around the world, and Sam Sherman, famous international exploitation producer, thought it was a little more stylish than most of the films that he'd been working with. And because it was shot in 65 millimeter and in 3D, Sam Sherman thought it would be great to bring the film to America in that format, with disastrous technical results because of the various factors that you can learn about watching the discs. So although the film was released in 3D in America, it didn't play at many venues as such, because the way the 3D needed to be set up, the lenses weren't equipped for it, so it was a very dark image that most people couldn't see the 3D in at all. And so the film ended up playing on television in its flat format, of course, and severely truncated by Sam Sherman, who wanted a little more snappier film. So he cut out the entire first reel basically and re-edited it. And because he had to have a deal for a Frankenstein picture, he retitled it Frankenstein's Bloody Terror and created this kind of narrative backstory in the beginning, which is just hilarious and fantastic, about Wolfstein.
Wolfstein, the inhuman clan of blood-hungry wolf monsters.
Because there is no Frankenstein in this film whatsoever. But it does have 2 werewolves and 2 vampires, and it really is a fantastic, very stylish monster mash. And if you see the original cut, in this beautiful Blu-ray from Subculture, from Germany, which is out of print right now and pretty expensive. But there's other ways you can watch it, and you'll be surprised maybe at how stylish it is, and really wonderful tribute to kind of atmospheric Universal Studios monster films, but very Bava-esque and maybe even some Argento in there. And I've always wanted to see the 3D 65 millimeter version, and of course, since I was a kid, since I've seen pictures about it and heard that it was in 3D. And it's always been kind of one of the great mythical, not lost, but unavailable films. And so finally, Sam Sherman made his lone print available, and the experts at 3D Film Archive, who are the masters of restoring, any number of 3D films, they said this was the most difficult restoration effort they've ever had because of the nature of the materials. And so the film already had a bad dupe to begin with, so they really had to work miracles in order to pull out the image that you see, which is not perfect by any means. And that's one of the things I want to talk about. And there's even a great introduction by noted scholar and video watchdog publisher Tim Lucas talking about the restoration efforts and what you're about to see, because it is certainly not perfect. It may not even be considered good, but it is available, and I'd rather have that than nothing at all. And so I want to commend 3D Film Archives and Kino Lorber for putting this out, because this really is a labor of love. Now, there is actually a 65 millimeter print of the film in the negatives, but they're in Spain, and the person who owns the prints but doesn't own the films actually refuses to release them to be restored, which is a real tragedy. And hopefully at some point maybe there'll be another version, but it does exist right now. And based on what you see in the film, you can only imagine how amazing it must look in the original negative format. But we do have Frankenstein's Bloody Terror in 70 millimeter chillorama, although technically not 70 millimeter. And so, like I said, this film is severely truncated down to about 75 minutes, but it's a great monster mash. It flies by, and if you're a fan of 3D like I am, you're going to be very happy with the film. Like I said, sometimes the elements are terrible. It's very dark in some places. Other times it's fantastic. And the 3D is not the kind that just throws things at you. It's just more atmospheric layering, like cobwebs in front of the foreground and chandeliers, etc. And the film, like I said, has a very Bob-esque lighting scheme. And Paul Naschy really distinguished himself because he really became the first great werewolf since Lon Chaney Jr. And he's got a very scary physicality and presence to the role that's pretty great. And the two vampires who enter the film halfway through are truly maybe the greatest vampire couple in movie history. And very stylishly presented and sexually presented. And they're a lot of fun. And, the film just is a total blast. And once again, it's worth watching the non-3D original Spanish version, so you can really see the beautiful cinematography. And the director, Enrique Lopez Iguilez, I think I'm probably massacring that last name, sorry, does a very excellent job, like I said, of creating a great atmosphere for the film. So now, as far as the extras on the Blu-ray, which are many, it includes the 2D version, the Blu-ray 3D, and the anaglyphic, that's the red and blue glasses version, so you can watch it in a couple or 3 different versions in 2 and 3D. And there's an audio commentary, of course, by Tim Lucas, which is fantastic and gives you all the background you need to know about the film and the 3D restoration. There's another audio commentary that's really fun by Troy Howarth, Troy Gwynnin, don't quote me, and Rodney Barnett, which is pretty great. And then there's alternate opening title sequence and deleted scenes, including basically the first reel that was cut out by Sam Sherman. There's a trailer and some radio spots, and all under $20. This is one of the great releases of the year for monster kid fans and cult film fans, because like I said, this is something that we never really thought that we were going to see, although I did make that bet and I have now won that bet. And the Blu-ray also includes a pair of, classic red and blue glasses. And if you have another 3D system, you can use your other pro glasses. And so I think this is a fantastic set, totally worth it. And we want to support this effort from Kino Lorber and from 3D Film Archive. And, we just hope that at some point we'll get that 65 millimeter print, because that really is, kind of film history, definitely a sub-level of film history, but it's very tantalizing to think about all these lost films. Like maybe there's a copy of London After Midnight sitting next to, La Marca del Hombre Lobo in 65 millimeter 3D. And there's a time limit on some of this stuff because, these films turn to vinegar. It apparently is in storage, but who's to say how long before they release it, if ever. Apparently it's been very impossible to get the rights to it, which seems impossible in this day and age, that you couldn't get the rights to a film that's sitting there in cold storage. So thank you for retroviewing. I'll be back again soon to talk about Barry Lyndon and Convoy and some other things coming out. And remember, send away $20 to your local video distributor to pick up Frankenstein's Bloody Terror in 3D Chillerama. Ooh, scary.